The Langhe is one of the most important wine areas in Italy, and much of its fame is tied to one name, Barolo. And while we certainly will never turn our noses up to a good Barolo, the Langhe has more to offer than just one wine. There are actually 3 grape varieties that really form the bulk of the foundation of this area. Hi there, I am Jacqueline for Vero, where we go around the world searching out wild and scarce wines and foods to bring to the US for wine lovers, foodies, businesses, and distributors alike to discover and enjoy along with us. And it's those 3 grapes that we want to talk about today, the main grapes of the Langhe, let's say, in order to give you a deeper understanding into the land and the terroir behind the Barolo. Now, Dolcetto, Barbera, and Nebbiolo, each one of these grapes has its own character, and it brings its own role to the table and its own place to the history of the land. We are going to look at what makes each one of these grapes different and some tips and tricks to help identify them through the lens of the wines of the Vero Producer Aldo Clerico. So, let's get going. But first, let's get to know the Langhe a little bit. Before we get into the grapes themselves, we're going to talk about where they actually come from. The Langhe is an area of rolling hills in Piedmont, in northwest Italy. It's centered around the city of Alba, so to speak. It's a landscape that is hard to describe without sounding a little poetic. Hill after hill, vineyard after vineyard, and small villages perched on top of many of those vineyards. And this isn't just Vero's opinion either. The Langhe, along with the Roero and the Monferrato, was named a UNESCO World Heritage Site for its beauty and culture. And that culture has included wine. In fact, it's been made here for centuries. But it's really Barolo, that is made from the Nebbiolo grape, that put the Langhe area on the map, so to speak. And it's what made it, in international terms, one of the most respected wine regions in the world. Now, the Langhe's climate is continental. We have cold winters, warm summers, and a real swing in temperature from daytime to nighttime that really helps grapes develop both sugar and acidity in a well-balanced manner. The hills themselves matter too. Depending on which direction a vineyard faces and how high up it sits and where in the Langhe it is, the same grape variety can ripen very differently from just an area not too far away. And then of course we have the soils, mostly ancient marl and limestone left behind by a sea that covered this area millions and millions of years ago. And this gives the wines here their famous structure and elegance. It's this combination of hills, exposure, soils that Dolcetto, Barbera, and Nebbiolo are grown side by side. So let's start with Dolcetto and meet the grape. Now, despite its name, which translates to little sweet, Dolcetto actually is a dry, not sweet wine. The name is really more about the grape itself being naturally sweet, not about what ends up in our wine glass. Dolcetto tends to ripen earlier than the other 2 grapes we're talking about today, which means that it's often the first one to be harvested here in the Langhe. In the glass, we are going to see a deeper color with a lot of purple undertones to it. It's going to have softer tannins and a lower acidity, making it a great, easy drinking and food-friendly wine from the very first sip. It's also what makes it really the everyday wine of the Piemontese people. Aldo Clerico's Dogliani is a great example of Dolcetto. From a specific part of the Langhe, Dogliani, that is known for its Dolcetto. This wine has classic ripe dark fruits, a soft texture, and this is all without asking you to wait years before opening the bottle, as it's usually drank on the younger side. This easy drinkingness is what makes Dolcetto the everyday, every meal type of wine that locals here in Piedmont swear by. Next up is Barbera. If Dolcetto is the middle of the road and easygoing everyday wine, Barbera adds a little bit more energy to the mix. The first thing you are going to notice about Barbera is its natural acidity. It's high and gives the wine its bright, mouth-watering quality that makes it lively and fresh. Compared to Dolcetto, Barbera tends to have a lighter tannin, but a higher acidity and deeper fruit characteristics. We're thinking ripe cherries, and there is going to be a fresh, juicy edge running through the wine. Now, Barbera is grown widely throughout this area, and it's a pretty exuberant vine. It produces a lot if it's not carefully controlled by a winemaker. It takes a really good hand to make a Barbera that is well balanced between the body, the acidity, and the fruit flavors. Aldo Clerico's Barbera d'Alba shows this balance well. It has vibrant and juicy fruit up front and a signature acidity running through everything that keeps things lively. But there is still enough depth and complexity underneath it to keep it a really interesting wine. Now, because of that unique combination of acidity and fruit, Barbera has a reputation as a great food wine, and it's is equally happy alongside a rich pasta dish or a simple plate of cured meats. Now we move on to Nebbiolo. It's the grape that started it all for this area. If Dolcetto is easygoing and Barbera is energetic, Nebbiolo is the one that grabs your attention. The name is thought to come from nebbia, the Italian word for fog. Now, there are different theories about this, either because of the misty autumn mornings when the grape is normally harvested, or from the dusty bloom that covers the grape skins looking foggy. But here is a paradox of Nebbiolo. The skins are thin, so the color in the glass comes out surprisingly pale, almost garnet-like. But you can't let that fool you, because on the palate, fresh acidity is well matched with incredible tannin and structure. There are flavors of cherries, violets, and with age, we will see leather, tar, and forest floor coming out. This is, after all, the grape behind Barolo. It's been aged for years, and it's complex, and it's structured. But there are younger versions out there too, like a Langhe Nebbiolo. Take, for example, Aldo Clerico's Langhe Nebbiolo. This wine will give us a more approachable window into the Nebbiolo grape. And it's made from the Barolo vines and vineyards. He just ages it a little bit less than a Barolo. So the wine comes out with amazing hallmarks of a great Nebbiolo wine, but built for drinking a little bit sooner. So there we have it. We have 3 grapes, 3 completely different personalities from the Langhe and 3 completely different wines, Barbera, Dolcetto, and Nebbiolo. Each one has their own moment and their own reason. Dolcetto is the one you reach for without thinking twice. It's soft, it's fruity, it's ready to go every day. Just love it. Barbera will wake things up. That acidity will keep it fresh and make it a natural at the dinner table. And Nebbiolo will ask for a little bit more concentration. It takes longer to understand. It demands a patience in the bottle, but it gives back in structure and complexity what the other 2 really aren't trying to achieve. It's our grape that is built for aging, as Barolo exemplifies, yet it has a beautiful characteristic that comes out in younger examples as well, like a Langhe Nebbiolo will show. But what really gets us is that these 3 vines can sometimes be grown on the same hillside and just a short walk apart, but they'll still end up tasting totally different in the glass. And that's the real character of the Langhe. It's never about just one grape or one style. It's about this whole trio working together, each one adding a different piece to the picture. And now it's time for you to start exploring these differences. So you can head to the Vero shop on verovino.com that I have linked below to check out our selections of wines made with Dolcetto, Barbera, and Nebbiolo. You can find the wines of Aldo Clerico that we talked about today, all there and ready to be shipped to you across the United States. If you are businesses and you're interested in stocking these wines, please feel free to reach out for wholesale pricing. So thank you for joining me today to learn about these differences between Dolcetto, Barbera, and Nebbiolo. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like below and be sure to subscribe both here on YouTube and to the Vero newsletter linked in the description below to stay up to date on the latest and greatest from Vero. I will see you in the next video, which might be this one here, if you are interested in learning more about the wines that we talked about in this video. See you there. Bye!